Robbins explains that our emotions and the results they produce are largely influenced by the questions we ask ourselves on a daily basis. He calls this your mental focus filter. Ask disempowering questions like, "Why does this always happen to me?" And you'll feel helpless. Ask empowering questions like, "What can I learn from this?" And you'll access solutions and strength. He introduces the concept of primary questions, the habitual questions we ask ourselves that shape our focus and emotions. For example, how can I make this better? What's wrong with me? What else can I be grateful for right now? Action step. Identify and replace disempowering questions with powerful ones. Robbins suggests creating a list of power questions to start each day with, questions that direct your mind toward gratitude, growth, and contribution. Chapter 9. The Vocabulary of Ultimate Success. Words Matter. In this chapter, Robbins reveals how our internal vocabulary shapes our emotional state. Words carry emotional intensity. Saying, "I'm devastated," creates a completely different physiological and emotional response than saying, "I'm a bit disappointed." Robbins urges us to transformational vocabulary, the practice of upgrading the words we use to describe our emotions. Don't say, "I'm furious." Say, "I'm a little peeved." Don't say, "I failed." Say, "I learned." Quote, "By changing your habitual vocabulary, you can change the way you think, feel, and live." Practical tip. Create a personal emotional dictionary. Downgrade the intensity of negative words and upgrade the language of empowerment. Chapter 10. Destroy the blocks. Break through the wall. At the core of Robbins' philosophy is this truth: your identity shapes your destiny. Your identity is the set of beliefs you hold about who you are. It determines what you do, how much you're willing to push, and what standards you live by. If you believe you're just average, your actions will never rise beyond that belief. But if you declare, "I am a leader," "I am healthy," or "I am unstoppable," your behavior begins to align with that new identity. Breakthrough strategy. Robbins challenges us to consciously redefine our identity. Instead of saying, "I'm shy," say, "I'm learning to be more expressive." Craft an identity that's empowering and supports your goals. Identity Shift Formula. Decide who you want to be. Reinforce it with behavior and language. Condition it through repetition and emotion. Chapter 11. The 10 Emotions of Power. Robbins identifies 10 empowering emotions that we should cultivate intentionally. These include love and warmth, appreciation and gratitude, curiosity, excitement and passion, determination, flexibility, confidence, cheerfulness, vitality, contribution. He also addresses negative emotions like fear, frustration, guilt, and anger, and reframes them as signals that something must change. For example, guilt signals that you've violated your own standards. Use that signal to realign with your values, not to wallow. Practical tool. The emotional management process. Learn to identify, appreciate, and use emotions as guides instead of avoiding or being dominated by them. Chapter 12. Creating a Compelling Future. People are pulled by vision. In this chapter, Robbins emphasizes the power of having a compelling future, a clear, emotionally charged vision of the life you want. Without a vision, people drift. With it, they endure hardship, conquer obstacles, and stay focused. Exercise. Write a vivid description of your ideal life: health, relationships, finances, purpose. Make it real. Make it inspiring. Robbins insists you revisit this daily and visualize living it with intensity. Guiding principle: the future you see is the life you will live. Chapter 13. The Power of Personal Standards. Robbins now shifts from motivation to transformation by discussing personal standards. He explains that we all live according to our musts, not our shoulds. You may say you want to be fit, but unless it becomes a must, change won't happen. Key point: upgrade your standards and your life will follow. Define what you will no longer tolerate and what you're committed to achieving. Commit with resolve, then align your behavior with those new standards. Chapter 14. Values, your personal compass. Robbins dives deep into values, the emotional states we strive to experience, like love, freedom, security, and avoid, like rejection, failure, humiliation. He explains the importance of aligning your life and decisions with your values, which act as a personal compass. But here's the catch: many people's values are in conflict. For example, if you value freedom and security equally, you may feel torn when opportunities arise that threaten one for the sake of the other. Solution: clarify and reorganize your values hierarchy. Decide what comes first, what comes second, and make sure they support one another instead of pulling in opposite directions. Chapter 15. Rules. If you're not happy, here's why. Robbins now reveals that it's not just our values, but our rules for achieving those values that control our emotions. For example, if your rule for feeling successful is, "I must earn $1 million," you may feel unsuccessful every day until that happens. But if your rule is, "I feel successful when I learn and grow," you'll feel fulfilled far more often. He encourages us to rewrite our rules so that they empower us instead of enslaving us. Make rules for happiness, success, and fulfillment that are achievable and nurturing. Exercise. Identify your top 5 values and write down what has to happen for you to feel them. Then simplify and expand the rules so you can experience them more frequently. Please watch next upcoming part of this book. Thank you for listening.